Recording here. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my Master Your Marketing Masterclass. And today in my hot seat, all the way from the Gold Coast, I have Kat. I'm going to call her Kat because that's what you guys know her as. I'd love to tell you her last name, but I'll probably kill it. So we're just going to stick it with Kat, okay? I'm authentic here. Welcome, Kat. How are you today?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Super excited about what we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely. And she's got this gorgeous scenery behind her. I mean, you can just dive into nature with her. I love that. It's the laptop lifestyle, right, Kat? I mean, you work from wherever.
It's the laptop life. Gold Coast lifestyle is definitely about that outdoors life as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here in Vegas, it's so hot. We're just waiting for summer to be over quietly so we can retreat it back outdoors.
Yeah, for sure.
Not fun. It's not fun. So let's dive right in. You're super successful. You're a success mentor, author, public figure, speaker, all of that yumminess. How did you end up here? What pulled you into this direction?
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things where I always had that feeling inside of me, which I think a lot of people can relate to. But then at the same time, it's not like you ever grew up with a career option of be, wildly famous or successful as an author or a speaker or something like that. So I remember always having this desire or this feeling that I'm going to do something different and live a different life, and kind of feeling like I was born for more. But at the same time, I really was focused on a pretty traditional career pathway while I was growing up. Academics were really important in my family, and so the plan was for me to become a lawyer. And I got the grades for that, and I got into law school and everything. But then meanwhile, during earlier years, during the teen years, for example, I'd also been reading like Tony Robbins and Brian Tracy and Zig Ziglar, and a lot of my dad's books, which I started reading when I was about 11 or 12. And I remember being that age and reading these books off my dad's bookshelf and just feeling like, well, that's what I'm going to do. And it wasn't even like, oh, that would be cool or something. It was more of a recognition like, yeah, that's what I'll do. That makes sense. And it's funny because I can look back and remember that now, but then it's not like I ever went to anybody and said, that's what I want to do. It was more just a soul knowing. And a lot of people I speak to, a lot of clients and friends and like-minded entrepreneurs have had that feeling for their whole life, for as long as they can remember as well. So for me, I had that there, I guess, but it never really came to the surface. I got the grades to study law. I went to like 2 classes at university, and I'd been a great student in high school, a very, disciplined, good student. And in university, which is, I guess, what we call college, nobody's watching you, nobody's really paying attention. You have to be accountable for yourself. And I just found that actually I wasn't that good of a student after all. I think I just liked all the validation in high school and being like the teacher's pet, because when nobody was watching me, I just found I didn't really want to be there. I lost all motivation to be a good student. I didn't want to go to class. I just didn't really care. And really quickly, I just stopped going. I continued to go to campus because I didn't want to tell my parents. But instead, I was hustling. I was giving people facials in the sort of retail section of the college campus and making money. I wasn't qualified to give facials. I just brought in my own gel-like skin products, and I was doing stress relief for students and kind of freaking out, though, because I thought, what am I going to do with my life? I'm being super irresponsible. Oh my God, my whole life's going down the drain, and I was only 18 years old. So I did what a lot of young people do, I guess, at that age, and I just took off to Europe and went around with a backpack for a few months. Came back, had gained a few pounds, and as a result of that, I started working out pretty obsessively, which led to me being a personal trainer, which was never on the cards or on the radar. It was very random because I wasn't even sporty type of person at school. I was really shy and introverted and not a cool kid. I was always picked last for sports, so it was a bit random that I ended up being this kind of perky blonde at the time fitness model and trainer. But it was great for me because it allowed me to have a freedom-based lifestyle and to make as much money as I wanted. And it brought out all of my natural sales skills and my natural performer skills and leadership skills. So it was a really good, it was a great time in my life. When I'd been doing that for maybe 5 or 6 years was about the time when people started blogging, I guess, a little bit. And a few of my clients at the time were like, oh, you should have a website and you should have a blog and get your name out there. And I was sort of, oh, yeah, that seems a bit scary, or I don't know what that's about. But eventually I did it. So I set up my first website in 2006. I built it myself and then started writing articles on fitness and fat loss and nutrition. And that led to me blogging. And then I kind of heard about information products. And I remember I saw Yaro Starak, who's an Australian entrepreneur. I remember he was like my first online mentor at the time, just in an informal way because I followed him. He spoke about living this laptop lifestyle, and he had specifically written this blog where he said that he was sitting by the beach with his laptop in a cafe with a coffee, and this would have been maybe 2007, and I remember thinking, well, that's what I'm definitely going to do. I'm going to find a way where I can sit with my laptop by the beach and write. And funnily enough, as we're doing this interview, the beach is about 30 meters that way, right? And my laptop's right here. So this is my lifestyle now. But at the time, back then, it was very much blind sort of sailing because there were no business coaches online. There wasn't like the internet marketing industry like now. And I couldn't find anybody to really help me know how to make money online. There was a lot of blogging advice. So really I became a blogger, and I learned about content, and I learned about creating really good long form content and high value content. And it suited me perfectly because I do love to write. So I just started writing more and more, and then gained a small following very slowly and surely though, and people who really wanted to hear what I had to say. And so I would talk to them and ask what they wanted, and I gradually started creating information products. And long story short, by about 2012, I was bringing in about $35,000 a month selling fitness and fat loss information products that were all $99 and under. So all low ticket.
Wow.
That's what it was all about. At the same time, I knew that fitness wasn't the be all end all for me. I love fitness. I'm still in fitness. But I knew that I really wanted to inspire people to live a better life and to follow their dreams. And that's kind of the message that had always been inside of me. So I started to gradually transition out under my own name. I'd already been business coaching and business mentoring people for at least a decade in the real world at that point, and written a lot of business content for some corporations. So it wasn't new to me, but doing it online was new, and branding myself was definitely a new thing or a scary thing, and particularly giving myself permission to share, I guess, the true message that was inside of me and not to just teach the surface-based stuff. So, you know, it's just been a continual process of evolution since then. Like really, if you circle right back to when I was 11 or 12 and I was reading Tony Robbins stuff and thinking, I'm going to be a motivational author and speaker, and now that's what I do. It's not like I just woke up one day, obviously, and did that, or remotely knew how to do that, just like anybody else. It was just a process of, well, for 11 years now, I've consistently shown up online and created content and posted blogs and articles, and now, you know, all the other cool things that we're able to do, like Facebook live streams and stuff. And it's just been day by day and one foot in front of the other, to where I gradually now sit here and I'm like, well, I don't really feel like I've changed much in 11 years, but I have built a multi-seven-figure empire and completely doing what I love doing.
I love that. Very inspirational. I think the strongest point to take away is the consistency, you know, to build your tribe. And a lot of people do want to wake up to, you know, the $35,000 coming in a month from product sales, and it doesn't work that way. It's just not a switch.
Right. It's about being willing to go through those early years as well, or early months, or however long it takes, when nobody's really listening and you're not making money. You know, a lot of people I know look at me now and go, oh, well, you've got a big following or this or that. And I'm like, well, nobody was listening to me for the first 18 months. I never got comments or likes or anything.
Right. And I think that's super powerful for anyone listening that is brand new. They just compare their start to everyone else's middle. Totally. And they get stuck in that circle of comparison game, which is just to steal everything away from you anyway. So don't do that. But it's the consistent effort. Just keep showing up every day. Keep writing. Keep creating content. Be, you know, be a leader. Just be the leader. Yeah,
completely.
That's what people really are looking for. Someone to step up. Step up. It's good stuff. I love that. 11 years. That's a good number. 11's a good number. Celebrate that one for sure. I've been coaching since 2005, but I didn't take the brand seriously. Like you, I started in holistic health. So I started very similar. I'm going to put my super cape on and save the world and heal everybody from any disease. And I went back to school, got my holistic nutrition degree. And then I evolved into business too. So about 2009, I evolved into business and just like, this is where I want to play. This is fun.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
love it.
So that's how it works. You're right. It's an evolution. I'm a pastor's kid. So I saw my dad always speaking on stage. I saw him building the church, literally building the physical building, as well as growing the congregation. I didn't know what a a typical punch in, punch out kind of job was from the outside looking in. I didn't know what that looked like. I saw things happen out of creation and making things happen. So thank you, Dad, for that example. That's a lot more fun than sitting in a cubicle somewhere, trading hours for dollars. Just doesn't sound like fun for me. So entrepreneur is my place to be too. I like freedom. It's my favorite emotion on the planet.
Totally.
Favorite emotion. So what kind of, so where do you think people should start? I mean, where do you tell your clients if they're brand new to business, where's like the first place to play? Because it can get overwhelming. They see everybody doing everything out there and they just try to do it all.
I mean, honestly, I'm so grateful that there was nobody to worry about watching or trying to copy or get jealous of back then, because I just had to figure it all out myself. There was nothing to compare myself to. So I think for people now, the most important thing is, I mean, you might want to choose one or two, or I think maximum 3 people who you're going to see as mentors or people to learn from and look to for inspiration or guidance. And then that's it. You've actually got to be really disciplined to put your filter on and not get caught up in everything. Because for me, even though I've now made millions and millions of dollars online and I have a multi-7-figure income each year, I'll still get triggered or distracted if I see somebody doing something that I think is better than me or more professional than me, or they look like they're doing something I didn't know about. I'll totally get into scarcity, like, oh my God, crap, I need to do that. And then I kind of remind myself of what I already know. So I can't even imagine how it must feel as a startup entrepreneur to just have all this shit coming at you from every direction. And a lot of it's the blind leading the blind as well. And you don't know who to believe or follow. So really feel that it's important to just really selectively choose who you're going to learn from and be inspired by, and do that based on what feels right, not obviously based on somebody's like, oh, these massive promises and money overnight or silly things like that. Inside of you whether you align with somebody else's values as a mentor or as a guide or somebody that you're going to learn from. And then from there, it's give yourself permission to be you and to share your truth. The thing that I wish I had have known or understood earlier, if I had to go back in time and change one thing, was to give myself permission to be me. Because for years I did know what my message was. I knew it I'm nearly 38 now. I definitely knew it for the better part of the last 3 decades, although obviously I couldn't have expressed it at that young age, but still I knew it. And in the online space, for at least now maybe 8 years or 9 years out of my online journey, I did know that my message is to motivate, inspire and empower driven entrepreneurs, leaders and creators to press play, as I would say it, and to live their life purposefully and create their dream life and business. But I didn't believe in myself enough to give myself permission to be that sort of coach or mentor or even blogger. I kind of felt like that's silly and who wants to hear that from me, and it's too vague, and a lot of things that people hear now. And so I would sometimes say the things that I wanted to say or put even offers out there around that, and it would always fall flat because I wasn't trusting in myself and believing in myself, and I was being really tentative with it. And then I'd kind of go running scared back to doing something that was surface based, that was still like, yeah, I can teach that or I know that, but it wasn't my deep truth. So I think the number one thing for those starting out is just own what your message is. You do know what your message is. You might say that you don't know what it is, but that just means you maybe feel like you could express it better or it's not clearer. Usually when people say they don't know what their message is, they're just imagining in their head that it needs to be more fancy, when actually your message is just the truth that you know inside of you. It's the thing where if you look around and you see kind of like the zombie people, you sometimes feel like you want to shake them and say, don't you just understand that this is what life is about? You can have it all, or you do have a purpose, or whatever it is in your own words. That's your message, and just start sharing it authentically and from the heart, and not worrying about how is this going to translate into money. Like obviously to make money online at some point you've got to ask for a sale and be selling, but it's never going to be about, oh, let me try and say something in order to get a sale. Right. It's got to be first and foremost, let me say what is real and true inside of my heart. What's the message I'm receiving from within or from God, or however you like to look at it. And then, sure, create something, sell something also from the heart, and just tell people about it authentically.
Well, you did say permission to be me, which is my book title. So,
oh, cool. Perfect.
Like, I can relate to that because there's so many rules that we have to overcome. You talk too much, sit down. Well, now I get paid to speak. So it's like all these silly rules that come up, like you're too loud, your personality's too big. All these silly rules, and they get to come out in your business. It's like shedding layers, peeling the mask back. And we give you permission to do that, in your business.
Yeah, completely.
I feel personally that a business should be just an accessory of who you are anyway. It should just be a piece of you,
I
like a
agree,
hat you
for
put on or
sure.
whatever. And
Yeah.
instead of this facade that you have to put on, it should just be who you are. And it's so much easier. Isn't it more flow when you just let that go and just be you? So much easier.
Yeah, totally.
That I can do. Being somebody else, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That requires some acting skills. So good stuff. Good stuff. So what is your favorite marketing strategy? I know you started with blogging, and I think we all started there for sure. Build content, create articles, content was shoved down our throats. And it still works, obviously. But is there a specific marketing strategy that works best for you now? Or I know I always tell everyone, build your tribe with your vibe first, then create, products, obviously. Some people do it backwards. They create a product and they go, hello, anybody out there? And there's nobody in the audience to sell to.
Yeah.
So you've got to still create followers, be the leader so someone will actually follow you to start. But what's your best favorite advice for marketing strategies?
I honestly don't think in terms of marketing strategies. I mean, I guess to try and answer the question though, it's really just kind of what I said before, like show up and be you. My favorite thing that I like to do, which really is marketing, I suppose, and is what ultimately builds my tribe and then makes me money, it is the blogging and the messaging, what I call messaging, which could be written blog or obviously a live stream or even just a short post or rant on Facebook or wherever it might be. But 80% of my time is spent on content. And so I do a daily blog that's at least 1,500 words. Now, I don't think that's not a rule or a suggestion anyway. That's because my first love is writing.
Yeah.
So that's me following my soul work. So I certainly am not implying that anybody should think that they have to do that every day. It's about, I definitely think that, marketing and branding and even selling is all about messaging. The more that you message and just let people see you and feel you, the more you automatically call in your soul tribe and people connect with you and resonate with you. And so then when you sell something, it's just simple, natural. Really. Yep. Yeah, not to downplay it, but it is a natural follow-on. So yeah, my number one marketing strategy is definitely authentic messaging every single day. And so for me personally, that's my daily blog. I do a Facebook live stream publicly, not every day, but every several days, and usually a ton of other messaging through the day as well. It could be an extra little story that I'm sharing, or something happens in my day or with my kid or with one of my kids or with a friend or a client, and then you're like, oh, I want to turn that into a little lesson, and it's just kind of a continual thing where my presence is pretty consistently felt, I guess, on social media and then on email as well. And the way that I then turn that into sales is I just add a call to action at the end of my message. But my focus is definitely on providing massive content and value. I guess that is a strategy, and that was what we were taught initially around content, like you said. But for me, I'm doing it because that's what feels right and aligns for me, because I consider myself a messenger, right? So if somebody really legitimately didn't want a message or feel that they had anything to say, well, I don't really have anything to say to that person because they definitely wouldn't be my client. So it'd be hard for me to relate to. But I know obviously some people in internet marketing look at it in a way more structured or strategic way, and I'm just not really interested in that.
It is a structure and a strategy, and it's relationship marketing. It's connecting, building that know, like, trust factor. I think stories sell. I believe stories sell way more than content. Content just tells. And people, puts them in the picture with you. It paints the picture, it puts them in the picture. They relate to you.
Yeah, definitely. Stories are super powerful.
Yes. And the direct marketing, talking at people, I don't see that convert like it should. And I tell people all the time, you're not a commercial,
Yeah.
You're not a billboard or commercial. You're a person. Show your human side, and you'll attract more humans. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like it.
It's just kind of shocking how that works. I love that you do that too. I started writing. I'm a writer too. I'm getting ready to publish book number 2. I like video too. And back in 2006, we didn't have Facebook Live or even Facebook. I'm trying to remember when I signed. Was it 2008? I think it was.
Yeah, it was 2008 for Facebook, but it was nothing like it is now. Yeah.
Technology's worked in our favor massively.
For sure.
I think as we grow, I love it when platforms like what I'm recording this on, things like that weren't available before. You're emailing people individually versus platforms and databases. And it's definitely growing with our mindset, which I think is cool. I love that it keeps consistently growing. It's the information age. So that's how people want to connect with you. You got to provide some good, yummy communication, and then you're going to latch on. I like your strategy of blogging with a call to action. I use that a lot with my clients too, and it works like a charm. Even when they're just promoting a webinar, they start with a story, and then it's like, oh, and here's my solution. Jump on this real quick with me, or jump on a call with me, or whatever that looks like, or go to this landing page. That works like magic, guys. Use it.
Yeah, for sure.
If they feel like they're being yelled at, pitched at, and sold to from hello, they're going to just shut off and go to the next thing.
Yeah,
you got to reel them in. Reel them in with your hook. Good stuff. No, that's definitely a strategy, my dear. You're doing it. You're doing it. So what is your next venture? I know you're an author. Do you speak publicly too, like keynote speaking, or just on stage? Because I have a speaking agency, and I know this is totally off topic, but I'm always looking for good Australian blood too to add to that and to pimp out. So,
cool.
So you do that. Share what's going and coming up to the future for you.
Oh, look, there's always about a million things in the works, so that's how it feels. I'm not a one thing at a time sort of a person. I've got my fingers in lots of pies, and I'll drop things quickly as well if it doesn't feel like a hell yes. So I'm working on a couple of new books at the moment. I've published over 50 books. I'm pretty prolific with my writing. I write about 10,000 words a day, 365 days a year. It's kind of like food for me. I just write all day, every day. I'm pretty fast though.
You're just channeling.
Correct. So I'm working on 2 books at the moment. And then what else? I'm speaking in Dallas at the end of next month, or no, whatever month it is, end of October. And I mean, I don't even know. Like, honestly, I keep myself focused so in the now that it's never about kind of a next big thing for me. My focus is always on the day-to-day of showing up now and like complete hell yes life right now. And what I've found over time is that the more I just bring myself back to the moment and do what feels aligned and perfect now, but continually set my goals and my vision in my journaling or when I'm doing my mindset work, that's when everything just comes to life. So I'm not really somebody to ever want to, I'm not interested in, but I also never worry about kind of forward planning, like, oh, where do I want to be here then, or achieve by then, and then work backwards from there or something like that. It's just not how my mind works. I believe that when you set a vision and an intention, and then you clear on that, and it's from alignment, and you're kind of reframing it or repeating it regularly, and you get it into your head, and then daily, when you just tune into what's aligned right now for this moment, that's when it all comes together. And that's certainly what I've found. So I've actually consciously, long time ago, moved away from trying to do any sort of forward planning or project planning, because I found that it just took me out of alignment and not really enjoying my business or life as much.
I love that you keep talking about that, because I'm all about the flow. Set the intention, then glide. It's like skating and gliding. Push, then glide. Push, then glide. Let the flow happen and take you away. I did not know you published 50 books. Holy Macarena. I'm trying not to swear.
I love to write.
Well, that's just a perfect example for anyone watching. The inspiration. Do what you really love. You will get paid for it. It does start to organically work, because you are listening to that soul
right, but you've got to have that intention and vision as well, that it's actually going to result in what you want it to result in, as far as whether it's money or impact or lifestyle or whatever it might be, obviously.
Right.
Combination.
No. Always chase the dream, not the money. The money shows up. Get the strategy in place. I love that. So that leads me into the free offer you have for our audience. Tell us a little bit about that. Kat's got goodies.
Sure. So one of my Amazon best-selling books that you can grab for free if you'd like, it's at katloterzo.com/free gift, and it's my book, Sprint Your Way Rich. So when I use the word rich, we're obviously not just talking financially, talking emotionally, mentally, spiritually, the works. And it's really for that adrenaline-loving, go-getting type of person who really just wants to go all in at business and life.
I love that. Sprint Your Way to Rich. Kind of brings in your past health and training and health coaching that you've done. So he's got the sprint in there.
Yeah. Well, that's my personality style, and I find my clients and my community are the same. Like, we just want to do everything at once now and be really fast paced, and no interest in slowing down at all. We want to go faster, but in alignment. Right.
And when it's in alignment, it doesn't feel hard. That's the part that people forget.
Feels perfect.
It does. It's not push energy. Yeah, there's a big difference. And there's nothing wrong with wanting faster or more. There's nothing wrong with expanding and growing. It's not a bad thing.
Correct.
Yeah, because I'll look at stuff that my peers are doing, and if it's not in alignment with me, it feels heavy, feels yucky, feels stressful, feels overwhelming. But then I'm like, ooh, something that inspires me, inspired action. I'm in. I could
Yeah.
do it in my sleep. Let's play.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the alignment part's huge. I'm so glad you mentioned that. Any final thoughts for our audience, for newbies and for those that are already in business that are like doing it all fucked up and ass backwards?
I think honestly, just make a commitment with yourself that you're going to tune in once a day, even for 5 minutes, and ask, what is my soul really telling me? Because you just can't go wrong with what's coming from inside of you. And I know that you might feel like that's easier said than done, or about how do I put that into practice, or what about all these things that everybody's telling me to do. The reality is that when you give your time and energy to things that don't feel good for you, just because you're essentially acting out of fear, and you think that if I don't do that, I won't get this result, you are wasting your time, or I guess you're just learning a valuable lesson. It's never a waste of time. But you're not going to look back when you've made it. You're never going to look back and say, oh, that's because I followed a bunch of hoo-ha that didn't feel good for my soul. When you look back and you're sharing your story and you're telling people how it was that you got to where you got, it's going to be similar stuff to what we just talked about today. It's going to be because you gave yourself permission to be you, because you listened to your soul, because you said fuck the rules and started doing what's inside of you rather than what everybody else is telling you. So the sooner you just know and trust that and start to act from that, the better. And I think that if you're listening to this, you do know that and you believe it. The question is just whether you'll take that leap of faith to live into it, and eventually you'll have to in order to be successful. So you might as well save yourself some time and effort, and obviously learn from other people's experience, I guess, and do it now.
Right. Plus, you're in your genius zone. That's so obvious. And once people find that zone of genius, that's where the flow and abundance really does happen.
Totally. 100%.
And you know, working with clients, I work with them private and in a group. Each one, especially the private clients, they get the more catered, hands-on approach. They're not gonna be a cookie cutter approach. There's no cookie cutter marketing process that works for them. They've got to really truly find their place to play. Where do they enjoy playing? I've noticed that so many people are trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, and they're like, this isn't working for me, because your soul's screaming for you to go over here. You know, you're not like everybody else. You're different. This is your gifts and skills, is communication or speaking or whatever. Exactly. Do that. I love this conversation. Okay, Kat, you've inspired me even more. All right, I know, because I'm going in a different direction in some of my business ventures too, and I'm like, yeah, that's why that didn't work. That wasn't in alignment.
Totally. Yeah. It's always the way. But it's always a fabulous lesson. Yes. It's always a great lesson. Thank you for the lesson.
Yeah. That's how we have to look at it. Absolutely. Plus, it gives you a relatable story for your own clients too. If everything went perfect, I wouldn't be able to relate to any failures or challenges they have. So it's good stuff. Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time. I'm going to let you go and let our audience go. And thank you again for your time. Make sure you pick up your free copy of Sprint Your Way to Rich. Is that correct?
Sprint Your Way Rich.
Sprint Your Way Rich. I can't read my own scribble. Yeah. I'm going to grab it myself. Good stuff. Awesome. And it is included in the link below, of course, so people can grab that quickly. So good stuff. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kat. And enjoy the rest of your beautiful day. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.